how to maximize your appetite suppression with these 5 tips for your Mounjaro or Zepbound weight loss. Hi everybody, this is Jen and welcome back to my channel. I'm still sitting at 83 pounds lost as I have not weighed myself in since July 1st and it's now July 11th, so I'm still at 83. I'm doing a no-weigh July and I'm just focusing on eating and working out, no snacking. What I mean by that is no cookies or donuts this month, and it's going surprisingly well. For those that are new here, I have been on Mounjaro since March of 2023. I am on my second week of 7.5, which is a decrease from 10, which I have been on for months. Lots has changed since my last video, so I want to get into that and also explain why I'm throwing in some appetite suppression tips, in this video as well, because I really needed it since decreasing my dose. But quick update, just on my Mounjaro usage, I received the dreaded letter from my insurance asking for a prior authorization approval, medical necessity. It said my insurance was going to stop covering it after August 1st, which I was like, that makes no sense to me. I'm covered. But it felt like such a gut punch, but I called them for more clarity along with my doctor calling them, and my blood pressure went back to normal after explaining that it looked as if there was a clerical error last month with my pharmacy and they just needed to confirm I only received 1 month's supply, which is exactly the case. So it should be cleared up rather quickly. But let me tell you, when I received that letter, and I was like, how many doses do I have left in my fridge? Do I have enough time to maybe get my doctors to submit a 3-month request for the end of the month to give me some time to just have enough to get me through maybe the next couple months and then plan some things out because I'm a planner. I have a plan for a plan. If I was going to lose coverage, I was thinking maybe I need to explore the compound route. That's always in the back of my mind, tirzepatide. So comment below if you're taking the compound tirzepatide and how that's been working out for you. Also, if you've switched to it or you've been on the compound from day one, I just want to gather some information in case this happens in the future. I think I can probably fit it into my budget because my plan all along was once I hit my goal, my weight loss number around it, I want to be in a maintenance dose for about a year and then figure out where do I go from there. But for now, I still have coverage. I would love to stay on it for the foreseeable future, but I want to just focus on what are my plans for the second half of this year. I'd love to be on it lifelong. I know it is a lifelong medication for a lot of people, but I don't want to think that far in advance right now. So you may be wondering why I want to do a video on appetite suppression tips. And let me tell you, the hunger pains came back strong since I decreased my dose. The first week of dropping from 10 to 7.5 of Mounjaro, my appetite suppression, it lasted about 4 days. I take my Mounjaro shot on late afternoons on Saturdays, and also fatigue was on a whole new level after I took my shot in the following day. I wasn't expecting that. I would think it would kind of be no different than the higher dose or maybe a little less of that happening. I didn't see that coming, but I also stopped my B12 shots a couple weeks ago and they worked wonders for me in the past avoiding fatigue, so may add them back in. But by the time I got to about Wednesday evening and I was winding down and relaxing on the couch, my stomach was growling so loud. Like I haven't heard my stomach growl like that in ages. So the first thought that jumped into my mind was, did I eat enough that day? I definitely did. I hit my calories, my protein, and my fiber goal. So I just was like, I'm going to drink some water. I'm going to try to ignore it. Woke up the next morning, and not only did I feel like I was starving and had that feeling of hunger, but I was also a little lightheaded as well. I didn't panic. I just, said, you know what? I'm going to kick off the day like I always do with my water and electrolytes and my protein coffee. And I'm going to go from there. And then I was fine all morning and afternoon, but then the hunger pains came back again later on that night and even after dinner. It did that until I did my next shot that following Saturday. This was like a new feeling and I haven't really experienced it at all during the last 15 months on Mounjaro. My stomach was definitely making some of the funniest sounds at night, but what I kept thinking about was, how I've heard so many people talk about when they stop or they lower their dose, that they get this feeling of hunger and it's amplified, and a lot of people have a hard time trying to explain it. Well, I had it, and let me tell you, I understand the struggle and can easily see how this could cause people to react. But thankfully, I did a couple things to help me get through, some of what I think are like kind of the tough moments, the mental struggle. And I have to say, some of these are a little bit more on that common sense category. But when you're in that moment of just uncertainty, sometimes you can just forget and make unhealthy decisions. And honestly, like my decision to do a 30-day Mounjaro reset of sorts, couldn't come at a better time. I'm more focused now than I ever have been this year to get closer to my goal weight. And I say please subscribe so you don't miss that future video on what's happening in the past 30 plus days, because I feel like I'm crushing my plan. I'm already feeling less bloated. My clothes are feeling looser. I have not cheated, and I know that's not a great word to use, but I've been cheating on my meal plans. But I don't want to speak prematurely. We're only 11 days in. But I say my first tip is to ride it out, which is easier said than done. I know. This tip also pertains a lot to my situation, because I was hitting my daily goal calories. And it might be a little bit different for you if you experience a high level of appetite suppression and food aversions, when a couple days after you take your shot or, higher dose, etc. But I know that a lot of people say it wears off later in the week. And in that particular case, it's okay to get, some of those calories back in that you missed earlier on the week. But for me, I have no issues, hitting my calorie goals. So the reminder that I need is that I am not starving. I'm well nourished, and I just needed to find a distraction, relax, and try to ride it out. Which then leads me to my next tip, which is to drink some water. And it's something as simple as having a glass of water may do the trick. It might be that distraction we may need. I know on a couple occasions I had to break my no water rule after 7 p.m., which I put in place to just allow me to, sleep through the night, not have to get up to pee at least once. Because I also was noticing, early on I was drinking a lot more water later in the day in the evenings, and that's just not, really good for me to be able to sleep through the night. But drinking water can help with those hunger pains, and I would have to say I did that, and it did help. I felt like it was that little distraction I needed to just relax, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, and I knew that when I get up in the morning, I'm going to be able to replenish myself within an hour of having a protein coffee. Which then leads me to tip number 3, which is, protein can really help us feel satiated. And, hitting your protein goal is key for so many reasons. I talk about it a lot while you're taking Mounjaro and Zepbound. It's just one of like a handful of things that I track daily. And yes, even though I hit my protein goals for, most days, especially those days where I was feeling hungry, I did take a look and see just how much I was eating with each meal and snack, and made just some minor tweaks. Like I, now have cottage cheese, I put a little ranch seasoning in it, so I get a little more protein with my snack. I dip, my pretzel crisp and my veggies in my little bento snack box that I create. And I also started adding a half a serving of Terra's Way unflavored protein powder to my fruit smoothie for lunch, just a little extra calories and protein. That's just something that helps me get through the day, because in my case, I've also upped my workouts, and I could tell I needed a small addition to my lunch and even my dinner to help me like refuel and aid in weight loss and muscle growth. So tip number 4 also goes back to that distractions. And I know it can be harder to ignore the hunger pains, especially at night compared to the morning. So I just built out a slightly new routine that provided the, distractions I need at night. I would try to, say, I'm going to go sit on the balcony for an hour with my dog, and I'm going to relax. Then I'm going to come in. I do a little light foaming and stretching session. Then I was like, let me start binging a new show. And I'm now looking forward to watching an episode or 2 at night. Once again, from that tip before, I'd grab a glass of water, get myself comfortable on the couch, and just relax and enjoy my show. The goal for me was to find something to take my mind off of being hungry. And which leads me to, my last tip number 5, which could be a little controversial, but maybe you need to allow yourself a small healthy snack to curb the cravings. I usually stop eating by 6, not because I'm intermittent fasting. It's just that time that I'm usually done with dinner, and I just try to cut myself off so that I can avoid snacking at night, because evenings were I guess you could say my biggest weakness for mindless eating. But now I'm scheduling in, because it's the summer and it's hot, 2 to 3 nights a week of a Ninja creamy protein ice cream. It feels like in some ways I'm cheating with ice cream, but it really hits the spot, and I don't have it every single night because I then would have to remember to prepare them the day before. But having a little special healthy treat waiting could also help. A little distraction, little healthy treat. But I finally broke into the Ninja creamy craze at the end of last summer, and I don't regret it. I've even made slushy drinks out of those Prime hydration drinks. Ice Pop, Cherry Freeze are my faves, but they have a new X, which is actually just strawberry lemonade. So I plan on making that next week when I'm back from the beach. It's so refreshing. And comment below if you have any favorite creamy recipes you want to recommend, because I'm always looking to try out something new. But overall, the key with this tip is to just not deprive yourself, to also understand that even with or without this medication, our stomachs are gonna growl on occasions. It's going to happen. I just want to avoid giving into those hunger cues with mindless snacking or processed foods that are not helping me lose weight and, continue on my health journey. Now, I know these 5 tips are very simple, but I implemented them firsthand the past 2 weeks while I was battling some hunger pains, and, a couple days past, my Mounjaro shot. But remember, if you find yourself still hungry after a meal, maybe consider adding more voluminous but low calorie foods to your diet, fresh veggies and fruits, maybe some air popcorn, and then shrimp, chicken breast, and turkey also contain a little more air and water content. And it's not always practical to try to suppress hunger without eating. Instead of counting calories, examine the foods you're eating and maybe replace them with foods of a better nutritional quality where you can fit them in, which is how I can try to ride it out, because I was tracking on those days, and during the week I eat a lot of the same meals as weeks prior, so I understand really how many calories I am consuming. But it may be some trial and error just to help you get through some of those nights when your stomach is growling and making some of the funniest noises. Just try not to overindulge, and just kind of look at ways to distract yourself. Since I'm now doing, like I said before, a 30-day Mounjaro cut, and some may see that maybe as I'm restricting foods, but I really needed to for 30 days to just retrain my mind and just I can go without those cookies and donuts that I mentioned in the last video. But the weird thing is I have not craved them once, and I'm 11 days in, 30 days, 31 days if I do all of July, and I've actually walked past them numerous times while shopping at Wegmans, and I was like, no, you can do it, you got this, girl, just keep going. I'm just really trying to prove this to myself, that I don't need them all the time, but at the same time I just wanted to refocus my efforts on just healthier habits and the things that I've built the past 15 months. But hopefully I can continue to monitor my meal plans to ensure that I'm eating enough calories, but still being in that deficit to lose weight each week. As I'm trying to inch closer to my 100-pound weight loss goal. Yes, it may have slowed down a bit, but I'm enjoying this journey, and I'm loving all of your positive comments the past couple weeks. And I hope you enjoyed this video on 5 appetite suppression tips. And that you've made it this far. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all in my next video. Bye.